You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keetin. Hobson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Once Upon a Time in Wonderland After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Once Upon a Time in Wonderland After Show.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that was cool.
That was good.
Would you be mine?
Heard it through the grapevine. Welcome to our Once Upon a Time in Wonderland After Show. This is Home, Episode 8. I am your host, Jacque Borowski. With me are Tiona Hobson,
Yo.
Marchi,
Yo.
Marisa Serafini,
What up?
and Phil in the booth.
Groovin'.
That was nice because Keetin said that we wanted to sing Heard It Through the Grapevine, and then Phil played it.
And that's funny because I queued it up for the show.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Perfect. That's perfect.
That is great minds think alike.
There you go.
love it.
I love it.
So this episode opens with the California Raisins. No, I'm just kidding.
What did you guys think of this episode overall, though? Like,
It was
before we
kind of
jump
a
into it.
wah-wah finale.
Yeah,
There was a lot of feet dragging before we got to the actual, real stuff in the last, 5 minutes.
I agree that for a mid-season finale, it was kind of slow paced. It was mostly dialogue, not a lot of action up until the ending, but I don't know, it went really slow compared to all the other episodes.
I feel like the only new information that I didn't already put together myself, because I just never thought about it, was that Cyrus was human once.
Yeah.
That
I
was the
feel
only
too,
kind of,
yeah.
I knew that the queen had the rabbit's family. I knew that they were going to be reunited at this episode and something else was going to go wrong. But I had never thought about the fact that Cyrus might have been a human before he was a Junie.
Yeah, I did not think about
Yeah.
that either. And it seems like once you saw it, it was so obvious, but I
Yeah.
just didn't think about it.
Well, because in Aladdin, the original story of Aladdin, at the end when the genie is freed, he's still this big blue airy dude that can do magic. And so, yeah, I didn't put that together either. I figured, if he's a genie, he's obviously a magical being. Or, I don't know, but that was fun.
Now we know how genies are made.
But did we ever get any backstory on Cyrus? When
No.
he was a kid before he was
You-
ever a
you
genie?
bring
So,
up the
we
fact-
would never think of that.
Yeah, and then in this episode, you bring up the fact that he was human, but then don't go into his backstory as a human.
As
That
a
bothered
human.
me.
So
Yeah.
I was like, why'd you bring it up if we're not going to talk about it?
It bothered me because they make this whole big to-do about his compass that does not only point north, which I wish it did.
Pirates of the Caribbean reference.
No,
Yes,
but
I did write that down too.
also, but spinning arrow.
It did.
Pocahontas!
Yeah.
I thought Pirates of the I was like, Jack Sparrow has that same compass.
No, I saw because I was watching with T the first 3 minutes, and there was the compass of T spinning arrow. Did anyone else see that?
No,
All
my
I thought
brain
of was
on
Pirates
Jack
of the
Sparrow.
Caribbean
I thought
because
Pocahontas.
Jack Sparrow's compass points him to whatever your heart desires, and that's all I thought of. Because
So
There's
Sparrow.
2 references in that.
yeah,
But his compass helps you find something that's lost, right?
yeah.
But
thought
it's
that was-
basically
It's kind of this-
what Jack Sparrow is. It's what your heart most desires.
Right.
So whether it's something that's lost or whatever. I mean, for him, it's his mother. And I remember
Right.
in the Pirates movies, for Captain Jack, it was the Black Pearl. For Elizabeth, it was Will. And no, for Will, sometimes it was
Yeah,
Jack.
sometimes it was
for
Jack.
Will, it was Elizabeth. But I digress.
Actually, the compass in Pirates of the Caribbean, it pointed to where the chest of Cortez was, not the Black Pearl.
Well, when he wanted,
Yeah.
once he wanted the chest,
It was whatever you wanted in
But
that moment.
and also with Pocahontas, the spinning arrow points to her path in which to
John
follow. So
go child.
you know your path. Now follow it.
I was
love
just
it.
frustrated because it's like they make this whole big to-do about the story with his mom and the compass and like him going to the steampunk bad guy area to talk to Caterpillar Jabba.
Love it.
Oh my god. His mom is the snake staff.
Maybe.
And that's why it stops. That's why it's not. Can't
That
find her.
would be a good
Oh
one.
my god.
What?
It just clicked, and I didn't want to wait till predictions. I just
No.
didn't want to
What's
forget.
Funny
Mind
about
blown.
that is that I
I could see
thought
that.
in this episode I was like, oh, his mom was probably the one that Jafar was, shacked up with, but I didn't
think of
think anything more into like what that actually
That makes
meant.
sense. That makes sense.
That's
You heard it here
amazing.
first.
AfterBuzz TV
Nice.
exclusive.
But
So-
the mother's not dead. It's still alive. So don't you think it would still point to the mother?
But she's
But her
trapped.
heart stopped.
Yeah, she's trapped.
Maybe.
But she's still alive. She still has a heart.
I know, but maybe it's confused. Maybe it's
It might be,
magically
it might be.
confused because
Okay.
of that. Because she does not have a corporeal form.
But yes, good prediction.
Yeah, that was a great prediction. But so they make this whole big to do about the compass and like his mom and everything, and we don't really get any sort of backstory on where he was a human, which is, I mean, it seems kind of cruel to like introduce that and then you're like, oh, okay, well now we're talking about other things that I'm not interested in because this is what you made me interested in.
It almost felt like they have like a pilot episode or like the first episode back from a break. It felt like the episode after that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it sets up a ton of information that you're just like questions, like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what's going to unfold this season. But I felt like they just did it because they didn't really leave us with a big enough cliffhanger, I felt like. But
I agree.
I mean, it was an interesting cliffhanger. I did not expect them to go in that direction, but no, I just didn't care enough,
No,
unfortunately.
I agree. I agree. So we start the episode off with Alice and Cyrus looking at falling stars, which aren't stars balls of gas, which wouldn't they be burned by balls of gas? This bothered me.
And that you learned from The Lion King.
Thank you, Timon.
Thank you, Timon and Pumbaa.
The fireflies.
Stuck up in that bluish black thing.
Love it.
Exactly. And I was so disturbed by this because I was like, apparently here they're just tiny little lights and it doesn't really matter in Wonderland. But in real life, I would be like, stars are falling and I'm being burned.
You know, it felt like Star Wars Episode 2 when Obi-Wan goes to Yoda and asks him for all the information on the planet, and there's all the stars, and he's surrounded by the stars and the galaxies and planets.
Yeah, I didn't think that's a good reference. That is a good
So
reference.
many. I mean,
It was
so
for-
many things.
If you
that-
dig on the rocks, there's a lot of Star Wars references.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they love Star Wars. I know
Yeah.
that for a fact.
So do I.
Yeah.
So I love how they do all those references.
So they had this like romantic kiss with some really pretty music that I like in the background. It reminded me of like meditation music. I was like, this is so soothing.
It's so romantical until it
so-
wasn't.
So romantical and soothing.
Seriously.
And then it wasn't. So then they fight these dudes come up and they start fighting them and actually pre-fight. What I found was interesting was like they come up to fight him and he's basically like, but you have to be afraid of her, which I like. I like that element of surprise where it's like the guys didn't even consider like her to be a threat and she is.
I
Which,
mean, she's in like a pink puffy dress,
Right.
like all girly. So.
I wrote, I loved seeing Alice kick some ass in her pink.
Oh my
Philly
god,
dress.
that same sentence. Yes, but I want to know, how did they know Cyrus is a genie? How do you know?
I think maybe it's the cufflink thing.
But couldn't it have just been some bracelets on his wrist? Like, he's not near a bottle. He's not.
And they were talking
Any-
really loudly too
Yeah.
to
Maybe
each other
they-
right beforehand.
But even if they were sneaking up on them, like they were sneaking up on him for a reason already. So is there something that stands out about a genie that lets you know that guy's a genie? Is there like a sign pointing at him?
Maybe they heard
like,
it through the
"Genie"?
grapevine.
Yeah, maybe they heard it through the grapevine. I don't know. But I just wanted to know, like, if you're sneaking up on someone and you know they're a genie, like how do you know he's a genie?
Those
I could see that, yeah.
those three guys, I was like,
They were
oh my
amazing.
God, it's the three kings of I was like, we three kings of
We're not gonna bring you presents, but we're gonna beat you up.
I was like, where's the frankincense, gold, and myrrh, guys? Come on.
It's Christmas. Come on.
They were dressed like that.
They seemed directly out of Agrabah, even though they were in Wonderland. It was
That's what I was confused about too.
Yeah,
That scene. I was
I
I
like,
feel
wait,
like there must be some sort of portal that comes very easy between Agrabah and there.
maybe they're neighboring countries,
Maybe they are neighboring
Realms.
They might be.
realms,
Yeah.
neighboring what realms, and maybe they are not at peace with each other right now. Clearly, they're at war.
But
Okay.
that's one of the things I like about Once in general, that it always lets the females kick butt, even in a pink frilly dress. I appreciated that. But then she gets wounded and
when did that happen? I'm
I
sorry.
missed it too.
Yeah.
Alice even missed it. Alice,
Like, they barely nicked me.
All that adrenaline, she couldn't feel it.
know
But the
what it
thing
re-
that I loved was that how they wrapped it up and she's still wearing the dress. I'm like, really? You still have it on the outside?
that's what I said. Why is her wound wrapped outside around her?
Yes. That was weird.
because they're very modest about
Yeah,
helping
they didn't
Alice
wanna
with
go-
her wound.
They didn't want to get in there and violate her in any way.
So they take her to the bunny's house, and his wife is Whoopi Goldberg, the bunny, who is apparently some sort of healer. And their children, when they were in bed, looked like two giant adults. And
I
then-
thought so too. I was like, they
Yeah.
look like regular children.
Yeah, I was like, is this the body doubles for the rabbits?
It was a
Because
mini bunny bed, I think.
It looked so giant in the picture, and the children looked like life-size children. I was like so disturbed because I was like, these bunnies had real children, or they adopted them, and that was bugging me for the entire episode until I saw them at the end and realized they were all just bunnies.
Did anyone expect him to have more kids?
I did. I
'Cause,
expected
I mean,
him to have
doing it
at
like
least,
rabbits.
at least
I mean,
45.
I was expecting a whole clan of rabbits to
Yeah.
need to be saved at this point.
2 kids. What
And
is
that,
two?
that would have been so funny, too. If they
Yeah,
threw
like
that
they just
in.
kept coming out at like the 101 Dalmatians.
Yes!
The 101 bunny rabbits coming out of the hiding spot.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed about their small family. So anyway, they like
Small
they
family that they still, even though there were only 2 baby bunnies, they still didn't have enough time to finish up all the graphics with those bunnies.
No.
They seemed like half done compared to the White Rabbit,
Yeah.
which makes
Yeah.
sense because obviously the White Rabbit's a main character. They have probably a lot of like stock images of him
Yeah.
to do his graphics, but it seemed unfinished like the very pilot episode of this series.
it's like the bunny doesn't get a fully realized family.
And I'm just gonna say it was definitely a mixed race bunny family.
I
was.
thought so
And-
too.
and
I
I
was like,
loved-
she's a
Yeah.
And I was like, even the bunnies can get their swirl on. I love it. We're teaching racial diversity, racial
Through
couples,
bunnies.
through bunnies on Once Upon a Time. ABC's doing something right. They had a lesbian on Once Upon a Time. Now they got an interracial couple on Once Upon a Time.
Here's
in
the thing,
Wonderland.
though. They had to do that because on Once there aren't really that many mixed couples. I mean, even the one lesbian doesn't get. I mean,
Her
so
girl.
far she doesn't get her girl. So they don't have it.
true.
They
They
don't have
killed
any.
off Lancelot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
killed off Lancelot, who was hot, and I was sad about that.
So this is their way of bringing a
Yeah,
little
this
diversity.
is their
We got-
only way-
We got
I-
Whoopi's voice, you guys. We got Whoopi.
It's the only way of bringing in an interracial couple through bunnies. Poorly realized CGI bunnies. I do feel now. I feel a little bit sad about that. What about gotta represent ABC? What's going on?
Okay.
Hopefully they'll bring because they killed off Lancelot and they killed off what's her name?
The girl
Who was
bad.
with bad girl. I can't even
Oh,
think.
Tamara.
Tamara. They
Oh.
killed
Yeah.
her off too.
Well, she
And she was
sucked as
bad.
a character.
Yeah, she was
That the
terrible.
problem.
Bad. And Lancelot was kind of bad too.
But that was.
But
No,
it
that
was,
was fake
it was
bad.
Cora.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
But that's
we digress.
once.
That's
That's
once.
once.
We're moving on.
So Alice is saved by the bunnies, and then we have this parallel story going on where they have to. So Jafar steals what he thinks is the genie bottle, but is in fact a fake. And so he takes a piece of the Red Queen's hair and he makes some sort of hair mixture storm juice.
It's like a voodoo thing.
Yes.
He created a storm in a bottle.
Yeah.
And then released
Yes.
it onto the whole land.
Yes. Just to search for the Red Queen. I was like,
And kill her.
yeah.
Which, I mean. I'm
Didn't
not-
happen.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Red Queen?
Can we talk about how if you're Jafar and you can make a storm in a bottle and you can send it specifically for someone and it still doesn't hit that person that you're specifically sending it for? I was like, come on, dude. Your spells are better than that. We know this.
And I mean, just the whole thing, because when, the queen was pleading, with everyone to believe her, if that Jafar was coming for them, I was like, nah, he's coming for you.
Right.
That's for you.
Yes.
These other people can get out of here safely. You are not safe, woman.
And yeah, she was the only one begging to get out of there because she knows it was coming after her.
Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, these people should just leave.
I don't know if she knew exactly if it was coming for her.
No, she didn't know, but
But she was the only one begging to
she-
leave.
It was just funny that she was begging and saying, this is coming for us, and the audience knows that it's coming for her, not for them.
Do you know what? So I love the Red Queen. I think. Yeah, you guys. I know. I think she's great. She makes
Her
me
outfits
laugh.
are amazing.
Her outfits are awesome.
Phenomenal.
And I don't know. I think she fits her character very well. Regardless of what the writing is for her. But I am so annoyed. She said the word bottle so many times, and every time she says bottle, it irks me. I don't know. It's the way she says it, but
I
there's
love the way
something
she
about
says
said
Bunny. That's my favorite word of hers. I love it. I want her to say it
I
more
just had a hard time believing in her storyline tonight, how quick it was for her to kind of flip. I know that there's been
agree.
signs, that she was going against Jafar, but we never knew what her plan
We
was.
still don't really know what her plan is.
Yeah, we still don't know what it was, but
she has like a half.
She has a
plan.
secret
plan.
wish.
But when she was like, "Oh, all I want is for you, Will," and was like crying, I just didn't believe it because she didn't really show me any of those signs. I just felt like it went from one extreme to another really, really fast, and there was no explanation for it or no character growth in
No,
between.
I agree, and I kind of disagree because the last few episodes, we always see the Red Queen saving Will or getting him out of the sticky situations he get himself in. So she's like saving his life constantly, but not killing him. And then we saw that whole emotional switch, which I didn't believe.
Well, see, I saw all those things as her keeping him alive, not as her saving him necessarily. Does that make sense?
no, but-
It's like, okay, I don't want you to go, but it still doesn't mean that like you mean that much to me.
I
Like
agree.
you have a soft spot in my
agree.
heart because we were together, and I don't want to see you dead, but I also don't. I'm still gonna think of myself over you.
I agree with that. I feel that
Well,
she's
right now,
still ultimately
she's saving
selfish.
herself
Yeah, she's
from Jafar.
But then what she's saying to Will in the scene is, all I want is you. I'll give all this up for you. I want to be with you. And that's the part I don't find believable because all her actions were just to save her own ass, not necessarily showing me that she wants to be with Will.
I don't know. It's the first time. Like, I mean, I could see it, and I wish what they would have done is shown a longer conversation between her and Cyrus on the road
Yes.
there,
Yeah,
because
I
I
agree
feel
with
like
that.
that's when the change probably happened. I wonder if there was a scene that
That's
got
a
cut.
yeah. That's a character
Because
development scene.
it makes sense
Yeah.
to me that that's when she would have the realization, oh my gosh, because Cyrus is somebody who she's known for a very long time, and obviously had a lot to lose, but is doing it for Alice. I feel like that could have made the thing click in her head that would have made her change. But yeah,
But I think that scene with her and Cyrus, it was short, but it also, planted that scene that she has the secret wish that she's been holding back for years. And then we find that builds up to the end scene where she finally lets it out. That's really her dark secret wish was to always be with Will. So it was just there to plant that seed.
how awesome was her secret present to Jafar? I thought that made me giggle.
Yes,
I wasn't
like,
expecting that.
Yeah,
I'll
and he
say
could still talk, so he must be immortal or something.
I love the floor in that big palace. It looked like a chessboard.
I did love
did.
that, but the outside is so hideously ugly to me. I'm like, it just seems so like poorly planned too. Like, where do the rooms go? Where do things go when you have a giant big cluster F of chess pieces? It just seems like I was kind of happy that he burned down the palace because I was like, good, now you can build a better one that makes sense as a home.
You can't raise a family in that thing. What are you thinking? Oh my
It's like,
gosh.
her main room is just like, she has this table in the middle with all of what seems like personal items and like flowers and toiletries and stuff in the middle of her like throne room. I'm like, is this because there's no room for her to have a personal room? And why is this in the middle of the room?
I think conceptually it worked out better, but when they actually executed it, not so much.
Yeah, it just looked like a mess, and I was like, okay, that's fine. He can burn it down, and they'll just rebuild it. It'll look better.
One thing I did enjoy about her tonight was when she goes to get Cyrus, after she's heard it through the grapevine where he is.
That was lovely.
I
was
love
great.
that she went there with her hair down, in the style of Anastasia. Yeah. That was one thing that I wrote down. I was like, why is her hair down right now?
She wasn't wearing a crown, right?
She wasn't wearing her crown. She looked like Anastasia. So when they were in the cart, I actually thought it was a flashback scene to when she was Anastasia for a little bit. So
I feel like she's
since I
ready.
bashed on her so bad, I feel like I have to say something nice
Well,
about
I do
her now,
feel
too.
like that they're setting this character up to be ready to leave Wonderland. I mean, she seems to be done with it.
She was like in her like Snow White. You know how Snow White has like her little white like I'm gonna go do something important.
Her
outfit?
pants
She had
with a
she
shirt
has like
thing
a red
over it.
version
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, definitely.
She was ready to go.
Yeah, I feel like she's done with it. But I also feel like, I mean, it's either just like shoddy writing or there's a bigger plan. And I want to believe that there's a bigger plan because your
These
plan...
guys are too good of writers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they're
what I'm
amazing
saying.
writers.
That's what I'm saying. Your plan can't just be like, go up and confess your love to Will, bam, end of story. Like, she was hinting at this huge plan with Cyrus, and that's why I also would have liked to have seen more banter between them, because it would have also made sense as to why he stood up for her in the end as well.
I mean,
Because she technically killed him.
Yeah.
Like, or tried to kill
Yeah.
him. And that's what started this whole
Yeah.
debauchery.
It just seems like too quick of a turnaround for someone who has been like continuously like tortured by both her and Jafar and then chased down by her. It's like, what happened in that scene? And that's another thing I like it that Maine once does, where they have the bad guys and the good guys have to come together for some sort of purpose. And I feel like they did that here, but we didn't get the full effect of it.
And but I mean, like we said, we know these writers are great and that they have a bigger picture.
I feel like
it's
there's
like
something more.
Yeah, it's like what Phil says here all the time. You got to look at the bigger picture too. You got to look at the big picture. So
I do. I feel like there's something more, and that's why I was frustrated by the end, because I'm like, we didn't get to hear her big story, and I know that can't be her big story.
Another thing that I did love about the Queen in this episode is that, like, her and Will have chemistry. And to see how much chemistry they have compared to Alice and Cyrus, because I don't feel like they have on-screen chemistry.
I feel the opposite. I feel that Alice and Cyrus do have chemistry, and I feel that Will and the Queen do not.
But aren't you shipping Alice and Will?
I am shipping Alice and Will. I think Alice and Will have chemistry, too.
Oh, okay. So Alice is just a chemistry slut,
No, I
basically.
just think that there are certain people, like, look at the first Star Wars episodes. There are certain people that just have really good chemistry together, and some people that don't. Alice and Will, to me, have the best chemistry on the show.
I agree with you that Alice and Will do have the best chemistry, but I want Alice to be with Cyrus because I think that makes more sense. But they had a little bit of chemistry at the beginning of the episode in the flashbacks, but in all like the real life things, I just didn't feel it. I was like, oh, this is a guy you've been like risking your life.
But the thing is that we've seen more scenes with Alice and Will together. We've seen their chemistry actually grow on screen.
Yeah.
And what we hear with Alice's chemistry with Cyrus is really what all Alice has told us. Oh, we've done this and this and this together. But we actually see Will and Alice together in present real time. Yeah. So I think that might be why, but I agree. I like Alice with both guys, really. Yeah. I can't really pick.
I always see Alice's chemistry with Will as more of like that awesome friendship where they can go ages without talking to each other or get mad at each other and fight, but then at the end of the day they're gonna bury their differences and come back together.
Sister.
It's like a brother sister thing. That's how I always see their chemistry, and I think that's why it maybe is a little bit more apparent, because I think that my chemistry with my siblings is a little bit more than a relationship that especially one that's been through, they haven't seen each other and we don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Kind of. So I think their first kind of in the moment thing, it might be a little awkward. It's going to be one of two things when you're reunited with someone you love like this. It's going to be really awkward and kind of off, or it's going to be like nothing has ever changed. And I think that theirs was just a little off because it's a little rough at the start.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's people yelling.
People yelling.
There's a storm coming.
Queen is crying. Did you see that Alice's hairstyle changed?
Yes, she had a side ponytail,
which
Work
I
it,
thought
girl.
was so much cuter with her little ombre hairdo.
Yeah, I thought that was really
looked
cute.
cleaner, and I thought it looked really cute on her, more so than the braid.
Now maybe
And
she'll
I
get to take a
liked how
shower.
Jafar's hair was in between. Jafar's hair was in between the blowout and the jerry curl.
Yeah,
I
it
that
was
was
like-
nice in between.
It was like at the tips. It was like the
Yeah.
lion's mane from Wizard of
Yes.
Oz. It looked like the curls after he goes to the Emerald City
Yes.
and they recurl his hair.
Nice.
That's what it looks like.
Boom.
Boom.
It was a good hair episode for everyone.
For everyone.
For everyone.
Also, guys, the Outlands, their little secret hideout spot. What's to stop anyone
I know.
walking
I
in
thought
there?
so too. I was like,
Because-
there's really no lock on that door.
Yes, there has to
There's
be
no
some sort
door.
of like secret lock or knock because otherwise you're just gonna have everybody wandering
yeah.
into your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. And no, because Will just walked in because I was like, okay, if Will can't get in, then I know that he had it set to like only him and Alice can come through the door. Anyone else who tries to, because you can't see it. So anyone who's walking by won't even know it's there. Will just keep going around it. Nope, Will just walked right in. So it's not keeping you safe. It's not a home. Like burglaries can happen at any point.
Like the Outlands just
Yeah.
don't sound like a safe place.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess
No.
the real
They didn't
question
look
is like,
like it
who
either.
goes out to the Outlands?
And it's
It
in the
doesn't-
wide open too.
Yeah, I guess because I mean, who would be out here looking around? This is the place that no
It
one
has
would
a very
be.
it has a very giant convenient rock marker next to it too.
Yeah.
Because I would just be like, what is this rock thing? And then I would end up in their bedroom.
Yeah,
and
I'd be like,
oh.
oh, this rock looks weird. I'm gonna take it from a picture from this angle, and then boom,
You're in a
oh,
room.
I'm in the lap of luxury right now. Did I just enter a day spa? Oh, how
Is
convenient.
that a bathtub?
The tub was awkward.
That was funny. But the thing I found interesting was that they got to all their destinations really fast in this episode.
Do you know what I
They
noticed?
got to
The
the
rabbit's house.
Anastasia's place fast. They got to Rabbit's house fast. They got to Cyrus's hideout really fast. And I'm like, usually
Travel is
these-
rapid in Wonderland.
I know these past few days, you see like a couple days to get to their destination. Then they went to like 4 different places tonight.
Yeah, and Will said we're going all the way to the Outlands and we're walking. So that makes you believe that
Right,
it's
yeah.
really far away. So it would take longer than anywhere else that they've gone.
And they had the white rabbit with them. Why couldn't the white rabbit just dig a little hole and poof, Outlands?
Can he do that within Wonderland?
yeah,
Like
that
from
we
a
don't
spot
I
in
don't know.
Wonderland to Wonderland, or can he only?
Well, we know
go to
the white
different
rabbit
places.
can run really fast. We've seen
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I think that's just the means of which the
He
rabbit
could have carried
travels.
them, and they could have sat in a sled, and he could have ran.
Go, bunny, go. It's kind
A
of
bunny
like
sled.
What is it? Was it in the Narnia movies that had the Santa had a bunny sled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Narnia.
Weird
but
reference.
I
No.
find
Great
it
reference.
I find it interesting that Cyrus, he has this whole conversation with the bunny, and the bunny says, you know, her whole life she has looked for a home, and you have given her a home, and he does the whole like the home is in my heart metaphor. But then he goes to Jabba the Hutt Caterpillar to try and get to try and like find a way to disappear, and I find it interesting that he didn't find a way to like separate them and protect her. He just found a way to have this
Secret house.
that
Hideout.
everybody can get into. I was like, poor planning, Cyrus. Poor planning.
You gave up your compass for that.
I know, right?
And this is the other thing. Why wouldn't Alice have gone there first to see if, like, you know, to really see if Jafar had the genie? I don't know. It just sometimes there's like the show doesn't line up to me because it seems like they have all these abilities to do all these, like, you know, with Jafar, he can do all this crazy magic. You know, the Red Queen can do magic too. Alice has these hideout places. You know, Will has these, like, people. But, like, it seems like they pick to use these things at very strange times. It's like, why didn't you just use that, like, 2 episodes ago and you could have, like, fixed this?
And yeah, and also going off of that.
But I feel she was warned. She was warned in the beginning, though, that Jafar, that he was being held captive.
No, but
Wasn't she?
I don't remember that. But yeah, going off of that, Will knew Anastasia had that hiding spot and he knew that the bottle was there too. Why didn't they just go there? He knew that he was chasing after the genie.
Well, at this point, they didn't know that she had the bottle because they thought that
But he knew a location of a bottle. If you knew, like, you're going to go search for a genie in any sense, you would go after a bottle. If you know a location of a bottle, you're going to naturally go to it.
I don't think he knew that it was
because he wouldn't
there.
have known the bottle was there. I think when he went to go look for the rabbits there, that he opened that and saw that that's where the bottle
I don't know.
had been.
It just seemed to me that he knew that there was another bottle there.
I don't think he necessarily.
Because she just
knew
got the
that.
bottle
Yeah.
from Jafar. So she
I
wouldn't
feel like
have.
he didn't know that. But I found it interesting that the home, the home looked like sort of like an old time carnival trailer.
Did.
It was like,
It was like Wizard.
Like
have
Jiminy
you seen the
Cricket.
new? Well, have you seen
Yes.
the new Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, that's what it
Right
reminded me
now
of.
for Oz, it looked just like the
Yeah.
Wizard's little.
I was
Wow.
wondering
Hut thingy.
when I wrote, I was like, "Is this a Wizard of Oz reference?" I found it very fascinating, and I wanted it to be.
Wizard of Oz wasn't Disney though, was it?
No,
MGM.
but they have said
Yeah.
that they are going to go to Oz at some point because
They've
in the
alluded to
book
it.
there are flying monkeys.
Yeah, and there are so many references
Yeah,
to
they've
Oz
alluded
throughout.
to it on both shows.
Yeah.
And the creators have said that, eventually we will get to the Oz.
Oz.
Well, I mean, I thought we were almost there because the yellow brick road is basically in Wonderland.
In Wonderland.
Yeah.
So maybe that leads to the one that goes to Oz.
It might.
Prediction, you heard it here first.
So Will and Alice, they're in a race to find Cyrus before Jafar does. So she thinks the best way to find him is through the bunny, and then there's this whole like, oh my god, the bunny betrayed you thing. They go to the bunny's house. One of my favorite, I just love Will. I love him. I want him to do a crossover on Once, and now that could be possible at this point. I love when they're in the room and she's like, oh, it's okay. We understand that you betrayed us. And then she kind of like elbows him and he's like, I too apparently.
Yeah,
He's
funny.
like, they know they can give him these hilarious lines and he delivers them spot on.
He does a great job. Did anyone
great.
else notice that we got the rabbit's name tonight?
No, what was it?
Percy.
Percy.
Oh yeah.
Because they
did say that.
kept calling him Rabbit. And when Alice was in that scene and she goes, Rabbit, I need you to help me one last time. I was like, I feel like it's really derogatory to just call him Rabbit.
Yes.
Learn his name and call him by a name because I'm sure that his wife doesn't call him Rabbit. And when she ran out of the house, she was like, Percy. I was like, there's his name. Boom.
And that was the
Realize that.
fastest reunion ever.
Yeah, it was-
Who knows how long the rabbit, or Percy, has been separated from his family, and they were immediately together. Then 10 seconds later, oh, we're
Boom.
gonna split up again.
But he taught his kids a good lesson. You always follow through with your promises.
That is true. And we knew that the Red Queen had taken his family. Like we talked
about
assumed
that weeks ago.
before. So we
Old
assumed
news.
that they were taken there. My only concern was I was like, this is like animal torture. She's been keeping them in this thing that she never goes to. Are they getting fed? What is happening? Why are they in the dark under
they
a
in a
blanket
cage?
in a cage?
Maybe they were in a bunny cage with the water bottle.
I know.
And little pebbles.
I'm like, this is
So
Oh
mean.
my gosh. I don't even want to think about
Tiana.
that.
I mean, come on, they're rabbits.
I know, but they're talking rabbits. I have a rabbit, and he doesn't.
It's a TV show, guys. Clearly, if she left them a bottle of water and some rabbit pellets, then she's doing a good job as an owner.
It was
People
terrible.
keep their rabbits in their garage. At least they had real warmth and covering in a home trailer. Just
I think it
saying.
was awful. They came from a house and went to a box where they probably
They
maybe
came from a
weren't fed.
tree.
I love how
It's a very homey tree.
I loved
rabbit burrow.
I loved how the mother rabbit Whoopi. I'll call her the Whoopi rabbit.
Whoopee.
Whoopi rabbit was kind of dressed like a gypsy.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
like she comes out of this like gypsy dwelling.
I
She
thought so
was
too.
dressed like Jafar's mom, the healer. A little bit.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's something about like something in common with all of the healers.
Jafar's mom was reincarnated as Whoopi the bunny.
But I feel like maybe healers, maybe that's a sign that like healers dress like that. They're gypsies or something. I don't
Have
know.
you guys ever seen Stardust?
Yes.
I love that
No.
movie.
Love it.
It's a great movie, but if you
I thought it was also like the wagon from Stardust
yeah,
too.
right. It'd be a kind of a Stardust, and You guys, it's so good. Robert
What?
De Niro is in drag in that movie. It's hysterical.
Oh, that's awesome.
my
I will
goodness.
see it just for
Love
that.
it.
I'll see it
Claire
just for
Danes.
that.
Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah, it's such a good
I
movie.
mean, I've heard of it. I just never saw it.
I mean, come. Okay, T, I will let you borrow my movie. All right? There you go.
You could probably go to
Problem
Blockbuster and get it for
solved.
$1.
Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, Best Buy.
We digress.
Yeah, we digress.
So they all meet together at the end because the storm is coming and the Red Queen is like, Ermagerd, we have to leave.
Wah, wah, wah. I'm crying. You know, all those scenes of all these weeks of her looking like she was ready to cry, I'm glad she finally did.
Yeah, she had it
You
pent
know,
up inside.
she
of
had
her.
it
She had
all pent
emotion.
up because every week I say it, she looks like she's on the verge of tears every time she speaks, and tonight she actually cried, so at least it worked.
I hope Will though finds a nice new other lady because he was just like not having it, which I appreciated. It's like you went and got married 2 seconds
But
he
and
doesn't
leaving
have
him
his heart.
But
outside.
he saved her life. He jumped. Even though he was saying I'm not having it, he saved her life.
He did save her
took
life.
a bullet / lightning bolt for her.
Is that what
No,
happened?
I don't
She
think
used
so.
the genie bottle to
She-
deflect it, and
yeah.
it deflected into him.
really?
She
That's
was
what
trying
happened.
to. She was trying to save and deflect it, and it hit Will.
Yeah, because it bounced off that genie bottle, and that's why it bounced
I
off
mean-
and rolled off to the distance.
As much as we love Will and the heroic act that it would have been if he had done that, no, I don't think that's what
Yeah.
happened.
Well, that
That's what I
makes me
thought
feel better.
happened. I
No.
was
I'm really,
Because
I'm really
guys,
glad
he,
didn't
he doesn't
protect
have
her.
his heart,
He
so
doesn't.
that's why I think if he had his heart, her words would have meant something, and he would have thought about it. But he doesn't have his heart.
Good point.
And she doesn't know that, so she doesn't know that he's being a dick for not having a heart.
Have you noticed that her accent changes a little bit when she talks to Will?
She got her
She has-
accent sounded more like Will's when she was
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
to him, as opposed to like
it-
like it usually does.
I like
I think that
I
makes
it's-
sense.
Yeah, I think it's a character
it's a
choice.
character
Yeah.
choice, for
because
sure.
when she's acting like the Red Queen, she probably doesn't want to have that Cockney voice, which is kind of like a little. It's not as like upper class and not as posh. So I like it as a character choice with her.
I think it's definitely a character choice.
Going back to Will not having his heart, if he had his heart, do you think he would have accepted Anastasia's
think he-
apology?
No, I hope to God
I think he would have
not.
been more willing to start to believe her, to start down a path, or even have compassion for the way that she was pleading her heart out to him, as opposed to being the cold-hearted dude that he was. He was stone cold. She's breaking down in tears in front of you, and he was just like, "Bye, Felicia." That was for you, Phil.
I
Instead of, if he had a heart, if anyone with a heart, you see someone, even if you don't feel the same way, you're going to be like, appreciate it, but you broke my heart and I'm not really feeling it, but
Exactly, and I
but
think
let's go down this rabbit hole together to get away from this storm.
I
Right.
think had he had his heart, he would have had a different reaction to her.
Yes.
I think he would have absolutely had it, because the reason he got rid of his heart is because he didn't want to think about that anymore, because he was so brokenhearted over it. And so I think his heart is still absolutely does belong to Anastasia. He just got rid of it, so it's not a
distraction.
hindrance to him anymore.
And she can't use it as a weapon against him.
I just feel like, though, I also think there can be a point where you get so, I mean, yes, his heart isn't with him, so he was definitely stone cold, but I do think there's a part where you can be so brokenhearted and so let down continuously by a person that you just say, I'm done. I can't, like, I still love you and I still respect you, but I can't do this anymore. And I think that he, like, even if he did get his heart back, he might realize that.
Yeah.
That he's stronger than he.
I have to say,
thinks he is.
when I thought Will was dead, I was like, why are you killing
Yes!
off the best character in the show?
exactly.
I started freaking out a
Yeah.
little bit.
And
I
then
was like, undo the wish. Undo the wish.
well, and then we realized that because of episodes prior, Alice had tied herself to Will, so she is now dying, and so because that wish belongs to Will, he gets to make the last wish.
That's
which
my
is-
bloody wish.
Hey, didn't I tell you guys last week? He gave that look like, girl, that last wish is mine.
Yep.
And he was like,
Yep.
hey, that last wish is mine. I'ma use it.
So he makes the wish to end their suffering, which it ends Alice and Cyrus's suffering. But
Just
it just-
Alice's suffering. Just Alice's
just
suffering.
Alice.
Just
The
Alice.
wish was
I
for
thought-
just Alice's suffering.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
but
everyone's suffering.
but
He singled her out.
Yeah, but part of that was that Cyrus suffering kind
Right.
of
Part
got
of it is
to.
Connected
Cyrus.
with
Yeah,
him.
because they're connected because of their love.
So I'm not sure how I'm interested in how one becomes a genie, because now Will is a genie.
I
No,
think
I
that
always thought
I think it's 1 for 1.
No, I always thought like once one genie is freed, another person has to take
like
his
the
place. It's
Santa
like
Claus.
the last,
or
Yeah, maybe,
or like
exactly.
Davy Jones.
Yes.
like
Oh,
the last person to make a wish. I don't know would take his place.
Yeah. Because I can't remember a movie reference, but something's coming to my mind of something like this happening where, oh, it's like the Dark One. Because remember how Rumple got tricked into doing it because it's the same type of thing. And that's what came in my head when they ended up switching. I was like, oh, it's just like the Dark One storyline.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking of the show Charmed, if you've ever seen that. There's an episode with genies, and they all went through the 3 wishes, and then, like, the last person who made a wish became the genie. And it was just the cyclical thing in that episode. So it just made me think of this episode going again.
I think it's, but I don't think the traditional thing to have is the last wish becomes the genie, because that would have happened to. I don't think,
Aladdin.
I don't think that's for every case,
But
but,
I think
I've seen it a lot
because-
in TV shows. That's what happens.
and I think probably because he made the wish that freed that genie, then he had to become the
Do you
genie.
know what I really want to see happen? I really want Robin Williams to cameo in this show
Yes.
as another genie in one of those other bottles.
Yes.
Well, see, I'm trying to
That
get
would be
him
awesome.
on Once Upon a Time as grown-up Peter Pan since he was Hook.
Oh, right.
That's what I want
That would
Robin
be
Williams.
That's
awesome,
good
He
too.
can do both shows. I mean, he
Yeah.
has a connection to everything.
There you go.
But they
back
already
to
have grown up Peter Pan, because it's just Rumple's old dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want him to be like, since they're back in Neverland now, he has to start aging.
Yeah.
And I want him to like grow up into Robin Williams. Anyway, back to the Aladdin thing with the whole genie, getting free. But Jafar had become a genie, so that's how that's what brought the balance back to the scales, because like take one get one.
Wait, when did Jafar? What?
Jafar
'cause he
wished
wishes
himself
to be a
to
genie.
be a genie. So then when Aladdin wishes genie free, it was like a swap almost, because.
Are you talking about the movie or no?
Oh yeah, I'm talking
Yeah,
about the
the
Disney
Aladdin.
cartoon.
Oh, okay, because I was
movie.
like, I do not remember
Because
this
she brought
in
up
the show.
the cartoon version, and I was
Sorry. Yes.
thought off of that.
to rip apart Aladdin the movie, when Jafar wishes to become the most powerful genie, whatever, when he does that, like genies little bracelets, they don't disappear until Aladdin wishes the genie.
Yeah, but I was just saying that because at that point, I think that since he had already become the genie, having one free, you didn't have to have a swap because he had already just become one. So the balance was still there. You still received a new genie, and then later on you lost a genie.
Well, so now the new quest is to find Will, because we don't know where he is. And so instead of finding
In a
Cyrus,
bottle.
now the quest is to find Will. And I really don't hope they don't do this whole thing where we didn't see much of Cyrus except for flashbacks until it came to the point in the story where they had to find him. I hope they show more of Will, because
But
he's
let's
such a
be
great
honest,
character.
Will alone in a bottle is still going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Because he had one line in there, and I would laugh my ass off.
Yes.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah. He's just funny no matter where he is.
is
So
funny
even
no matter where he
alone
is.
at the bottom of a waterfall, lake or whatever he ends up, he's still going to be funny.
I'm still campaigning to get him on Once for a crossover. If anybody else wants that, tweet it at me.
What if someone finds the bottle in once?
That
That'd
would be
cool.
awesome.
Makes its way to Storybrooke.
And then if you
What if the water is like Lake Nostos or something? It goes into the whole, yeah.
So
That'd be
we,
cool.
do we have anything else to say about the episode, or do we
think
want to
we-
do predictions?
Yeah, I kind of want to get into production.
Yeah, let's do predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, Tiona, you had a...
Oh,
Wait, can I ask a question really quick?
Yes.
Okay, so I watched this online, and I had to research that we're not going to get it again until March 6th, which makes me
Yes.
very, very sad. But was there a preview after the episode to show that, like in March?
No, there was a
No.
preview for the Once show.
yeah, it was for the winter finale of Once
I
Upon a
don't
Time.
think they have... I mean, my assumption is that if you're waiting that long, you probably haven't filmed all of it, so...
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean,
Nashville had one. I was just wondering.
Yeah, they usually just do like flashes of
teaser.
Yeah.
teasers of what's to come. I want to go off of the thought of Cyrus's mom being Jafar's lover crazy lady.
Love her mom.
Is it Amara? The name?
Amara.
Yeah.
Amara. I think that could work because that could explain why she wanted to change the laws of magic to free her son from being a genie and getting all 3 bottles. So that's what I wanted to say on that. I want to know, how did Cyrus become a genie in the first place?
Because more backstory on him.
Backstory on that. And I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get that much Jafar in this episode. Since it's the winter finale, I felt like he should have been really like involved, and he did everything from his cell tower room.
It would have been cool if Jafar came through that storm on his flying carpet and actually caused some action there. Yeah. Instead of just sending this little storm
I miss
out.
some of Jafar in this too. I feel like he's a big powerhouse character.
Hashtag we heart Jafar.
Yeah. And then ultimately my big prediction is that in order to save Will, they're going to have to trick Jafar into becoming a genie to get him in the bottle and free Will.
My prediction is, because we're supposed to get Cora in March, that we're going to have some sort of backstory about Will's heart with Cora.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Maybe him even get his heart back. So that he can love again.
My question is, now that the 3 wishes have been used up and Will's now in the bottle, who has the next 3 wishes?
Whoever finds the bottle.
Yeah.
But who should find the bottle?
Yeah.
If Lizard finds the bottle, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be
That's gonna
pissed
suck.
because I don't care about her.
Hashtag, where's Lizard now?
I don't care. I think I used my big prediction that
that was a great one.
Yeah, that's Cyrus's mom. And I hope we do meet the other genies. I hope one is Robin Williams. And I'm really hoping for a Aladdin or Jasmine. I want Aladdin. Before this season's over, I need Aladdin or Jasmine in this story.
I don't think they're going to come this season. I don't know for a fact or anything. I'm just saying out of my gut. I just don't think
they have until March 6th. You have enough time to cast an Aladdin and Jasmine. Get on it.
And we didn't really get a follow-up with the Sultan.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
So what's going to happen
What's
to
his
him?
status?
Yeah, and where is Jafar's tower is my other question, because hopefully it's not in the castle that just burned down.
No, he had
No,
his
he
hidden
has
one
his-
in the clouds.
Oh, that's right.
that no one could see until
Like
everyone
Pandora.
And
So many
what's gonna happen to the ruler of Wonderland now, I think, is another question, because she's clearly posed to leave. The Red Queen is, and Jafar's,
Maybe that's where the Queen of... No, because she's already... I think we're past that.
and Jafar's posed to take place. Maybe we'll get the White Queen.
That's Anne Hathaway, right?
Yeah, that's Anne Hathaway. She'll sing too while her hair's being cut.
That'd be cool.
Thank you guys for commenting on iTunes and YouTube. There's a lot of great predictions on YouTube, and we've had some really sweet comments on iTunes. Keep commenting. I try and chat with people as much as I can on iTunes and YouTube. Any last thoughts?
Gosh, March 6th seems so far
It
away.
does. It's
Better
very
get here
oddly
fast.
far.
I'm going to miss you guys. I'm going to miss the show. It's going to be a sad time.
Oh, that's
It's gonna be sad, lonely times.
Well, we'll still be here.
Yeah, so where can we find all you guys while we have to wait till March 6th?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at the Tiona Hobson.
I'm at 123 Jackie B. I'm gonna be Jackie_B. I'm gonna be live tweeting the Once show. I'm watching it with my friend who's a writer for Once. So I'm gonna be live tweeting it on Sunday. I'd love for people to respond and join me. That's at 123 Jackie B. Jackie spelled JACQUE. I'm sorry, it's _B. I keep forgetting that. Okay, Keetin.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube at KeetinM33 and on other AfterBuzz shows such as Rain, Nashville. Sometimes I get lucky and get on Once Upon a Time, but a lot of those shows are going on hiatus. But check them out if you want.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
Thanks, you guys. Have a nice, long Wonderland break.
Keep rating and keep commenting.
Yeah, see you in 2014.
Happy holidays!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.